Good morning, everyone. Let me know if the sound's okay. Looks like it is. I can see the mic moving. It's in the right area. I think it's good, but just let me know just in case. Figures I hit the start button and the dog wants to go outside. Millie, go. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. All right, so. Uh-oh. Jinjin's wrecking shop. All right, so in the last 24 hours, you've seen some decent movement. A lot of news, obviously, so to speak. Obviously, yesterday we saw the oil 11 o'clock came down, even though it was a green number, ended up dropping through. So got a nice little initial pop and then continued Harry Potter to the downside. We just covered that for the Nadex presentation. So hopefully you guys were able to catch that over there. Besides that, not too much else in there. Obviously, retail sales also last night positive, but not necessarily the best number. A little bit of a little confusion there of what they thought it was going to be versus what it should have been. All right. This morning, this is all the data we've seen. So retail sales came in bad, like really bad. It was expected to be negative, came in worse than expected, and that seems to be a trend we're seeing. There's your retail sales for the UK, and here is your retail sales for Canada. So, interesting story here. We're seeing manufacturing numbers being positive across the board. Here's France, here's Germany, France. Overall, with manufacturing number, we see the UK manufacturing number also going much higher again. And again, in 9 minutes, we'll see what the flash manufacturing for the US comes in at. So it is very interesting to see how that is working out. How is the oil inventory green? Seems a lot worse than what they project. It's only good if they hold the shares. No, I mean, it went up. I mean, I'll show that when we get to the oil chart, Nora. But you'll see that there was an initial reaction was up green, right? A lower supply. But remember, it's not just a supply story. It's also a demand story. Like, why is supply low? Okay, well, we use a lot of supply because, crazy things were coming, right? Now people are locked into their home, so they're trying to forecast for what's going to happen next week with it. What is the demand going to look like next week? Is it going to be high? Is it going to be low? Like, remember, it's a speculation market. So it's future focusing, not what's already kind of what we're already there at. Is what they're looking at. Like, for example, right? I mean, it's, the storm, the peak of the storm in Texas is pretty much over, right? And, in 5 days what is it? Today's Friday. So in 5 days, it's supposed to be 70 degrees in Austin, Texas. 70. So snow doesn't last long on the ground when it's 70 degrees out and a sun beating down on it. So again, it's about future forecasts. Right. About the only thing that can screw it up is Iran, but we'll see. There's some stuff going on with Iran right now. Has Cancun ever had a frozen hydrant? I hope not. If Cancun is free, it gets to a stage where it has things that are freezing. I don't know. I feel like the global warming people are going to have a lot to worry about. My wife feels climate change from the other room. It's climate change. It's not global warming. It's because that term didn't work. Anyway, that's the next bit of news. We got 945 manufacturing. I expect it to come in positive. Should give a little bit of a perk to the dollar too, which would drive a lot of these currencies down. Tomorrow, nothing. Sunday, nothing. Monday morning early, we got German business climate. That's it. Nothing. And again, it's expected to be positive. So not really a whole lot news-wise for the next 2 trading days. So as far as looking at the biggest stories, Johnson & Johnson announced a submission for the emergency use listing, which it'll get. I feel like it'll get it. Will Australia benefit from the overhyped rare earth threat? Probably. That's probably why we're seeing the Aussie go higher. Again, that's one of those geopolitical events that it's very difficult to trade and track. It makes sense. They have them. China wants them. It's a direct attack on the United States. So, yeah, obviously they will benefit from that. Tesla's action isn't directly reflective of my opinion. Having Bitcoin, yeah, right. Okay, Elon. It's only a matter of time before he gets brought in for some type of investigative committee. Yeah. Inflation is not in the numbers, but does expect to see price pressure and a little bit. Yellen is making a push for major stimulus. More? I didn't want the video. What is she saying? It's important to have big stimulus to help those in need. I guess, but if you're helping the people in need, why not make this 2,000 like you promised, Yellen? Or I guess she didn't. I guess she didn't promise it, so I can't beat her up on that one, right? Yeah, we'd like to see bipartisan, yes. So when it fails and it's less than expected, you can't. You can blame it on everybody. That's why you want it bipartisan. Um, I love some of the comments, but yeah, House Democrats plan to vote on bill by the end of next week. So yeah, we'll see. It is what it is. All right, so let's dive right into the charts because, like I said, there's not much over here. We'll see this one in 5 minutes. We'll come back to it and check it out. Ted Cruz got caught going to Cancun. Yeah, who cares? So what? I mean, I don't know. My sister lives there. She doesn't care. She's like, if I could have got out, I would have got out too. You know, like they're telling people to conserve energy. Okay, the easiest way to conserve energy is to leave, not be there. Okay, so what? He left. You don't think anybody else left besides Ted Cruz? Who cares? Like, I don't know. So what? I mean, he is a human being. He can go wherever he wants. Free country. It's Texas. Texas has even more freedom, right? Who cares? I'd have left too. Oh man, there's gonna be blizzards coming in. Great. I mean, why do you think why do you think 3/4 of the population of Florida came from New York? They're not stupid. Why would you want to deal with a New York, winter when you can just go to Florida? I mean, the Panhandle's cool and all, but I don't know. I mean, I've worked down there, so I know what get out, go where it's warm. But Wealth Builder, there's going to be folks triggered over anything. There would have been people mad that he stayed. There's people mad that he went. There's people that are mad that he had eggs for breakfast. I mean, it's 2021. Everybody's triggered over something right now. I mean, it is what it is. I say we all move to a sunny island. Debbie, the only problem with sunny islands is sunny islands typically don't have good internet, and I need good internet. That's my problem. And you see those people like, oh, I'll just get Starlink. Okay, I have 10 times the speed right now of Starlink. Why would I downgrade to Starlink? I don't understand. And again, any type of satellites. I mean, you guys. I mean, it's so funny. I mean, people are hyping up the Starlink thing. They're like, oh my god, it's going to be great. We're sending 2,500 satellites into space. It's like, oh, this sounds like a great idea. Let's send more stuff up. Yep, got it. And then the speeds you can get are like 50 to 150 meg a second. I can get a gig right now up and down. And if you guys remember DirecTV, do you remember DirecTV when you had like really bad weather and storms and clouds and stuff like that? It definitely inhibited your, strength going, if you can't see the satellite well, it doesn't work well, right? So, no thanks. Because when you need it the most, it won't be there. Caymans have good internet. They like offshore forex. Yeah, they like offshore forex accounts. Yeah, we can. You mean the illegal kind, Wealth Builder? The illegal kind. Anyway, here's Aussie dollar. Obviously, we see a big push up in the last 16 hours, and again, a lot of this has to do with rare earth. And China saying that they're going to directly, try to purchase everything they can get because it will hurt the U.S. military, industry, which is true. I mean, it will hurt us, sure. I mean, we have so much of a, I think we have 10 times the size of our military is like 10 times the size of theirs or something, but it's like a ridiculous number. So we don't necessarily need it right now. We have the stockpiles, but yeah, it's a pain. It's a thorn on our side. Australia does benefit from it. So we are actually pushing up into a daily zone right now. Is there a lot we can do with it on a Friday afternoon? Probably not, but it is setting us for an interesting short. And again, this is a 4-hour chart, so this is much larger time frames. It is a daily zone up top, but really any type of shorts, the 7770-ish area is probably where we make sure we get out. That's where we see basing, at least on the 4-hour time frame. Even on the hourly, you can see kind of the same thing, right around that same area, the 7770 area. We do have a flip in, is it time to, circle the wagons and go, crazy with it? I don't know. I mean, the picture looks very, very similar to what we have in the euro dollar right now. I would say being short is probably fine. I would not hold it over the weekend. I'm just not a weekend kind of guy. So, I think it's due for some type of a retracement. If we can get on a 30-minute, like a decent top in here. And again, with the manufacturing numbers coming in minutes, I would say this is more set up to fall than it is to rise. Slight area right here of basing, obviously right below it. So watch out for that. But I think there'll be some, there's some decent opportunity in this one. Really, I can see next week this one's starting to, Sunday night, this one's starting to roll back down again. All right. Also, yen, kind of the same thing. Now, this one doesn't have a daily zone until we get to 83.60. So a bit more to run to the top side. 82.80 where we're at right now is pretty interesting. I mean, it's been straight up for 8 hours and now just kind of paused, right? This is the first kind of pullback we've seen whatsoever of it. I think, drop them with these lower time frames. Excuse me. Oh, I was hungry, had yogurt, and now I keep burping. I'm like, was the yogurt bad? We have the top put in. I don't know. It's a decent drawn candle. This may be kind of where the top is. It's not a very large, zone right there. You're only talking about like 8 pips, so it's not bad. The 1 to 3, 1 to 5 are in decent locations. The 1 to 10 would be a lot today. I mean, 66 pips down in the Aussie yen on a Friday afternoon with snow. I don't know. I'd say it's set for short. I don't know if this is going to be the exact top. I like the candle formation. It needs to come down and base a little bit, but I do think we will run out of time before we get a full retracement in. But I do like it. It's an area where I'd be looking for a rollover again. Way too much movement, way too fast. And then again, we still have the Harry Potter much lower in this one. So I got a lot of stuff in the Aussie yen. I need Aussie yen to kind of roll and flip, right? Roll and flip. Once we get that flip, I think we'll be in a good position for some of these shorts. Euro yen. So we talked earlier in the week. Again, this is a 30-minute chart, but the 127.90 area, we talked about it. There was obviously some bouncing off of it. I mean, it hit it, dropped right back up, hit it again, drop, and now we're hitting there again. It looks like it will continue to roll as well, follow the yen path. But it has been in the center, right? And we talked about the center being kind of really the no man's land kind of weird place, right? I mean, it's pretty clean. It comes in, goes through. It's like, yeah. And then we get back in the middle and it goes back and forth. It gets wacky. There's wicks all over the place. So I'd say it's a short. We're only talking about 22 pips before we hit an opposing zone that's been tested. So it's a rather small trade. I mean, this could be one of those ones today that you do one of those Nadex butterflies on. Maybe once the European market closes, see if there's any premium out there to grab. Could be probably the only play on this one. I just don't, like I said, being stuck in here, this was an area that we were definitely looking for some sellers, and you've seen, what the price action has, happened after it. Curve wise, I think we're still good. Anything up here in the 128.34, look for shorts. 127.17, look for longs. But right now, skirting down the middle, there's just not a lot of opportunity for a Friday afternoon. All the news is in. I don't think there's going to be too much more we can do with this one. But if you're looking for a small position, then obviously down. Pound yen. So pound yen, not as impressive as the euro yen for where it pulled back to. Now, we know we have an upper time frame level here up at the 148.04. We didn't get to it. We kind of went sideways, pulled down a little bit, and then obviously a little bit of a push. I'd say, in the last 2-3 hours, we've had about a 60 pip push. So it's been decent. I mean, we can go to here. And this one is directly related to what we saw with the manufacturing. Actually both. I mean, here's at like 7 o'clock in the morning, right? The pound news came out around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So like in here, right? We got that good data, that pullback, this kind of piece here. So once it didn't go any lower, makes sense. Positive pound news, boom, we spike up, and there's a rally of 50. But at this point, I would say that same thing. Same yen story. I'd look for some type of roll and a flip. It's a decent top on it. I like the way that kind of the candles are formed. I like the sequence of the way the candles are formed. Gives us about 10 pips worth of risk, but I'd like to see it pull down a little bit base and then kind of make another attempt. So kind of that little failure to go higher, that confirmation entry, but looking to take this one short back down into, approximately probably the 147.46 zone. Okay. Dropping down to the pound dollar. So pound dollar is also in a level, like I said, it's kind of at the extreme ranges. We've had this level up here, and again, it's refined off the current candles, right here around like 140.15 to 140.38. It's an all right level. There was a bunch of basing. We had kind of 2 levels on top, and when we started to get this base and we had to go a little bit higher, it looks just like the euro dollar and the pound yen, but I would say that the euro dollar is probably a little bit better. It's already about halfway through though. I don't know. I'm looking for a roll in this one, but we did have positive news today, so there's no major reversal or anything that's coming inside of the pound. The euro pound, obviously, being down a bit lower, that's what we were looking for anyway. But so far, we've gotten great news out of the pound. And like I said, with the lockdowns kind of ceasing and things like that, I think it's, pound is in not a bad position, right? Not a bad position. All right. So let's see. All right, that's what I was looking for. Move this over so we can kind of get a better view there. All right, yeah, so that's a weekly level. I don't know that we're going to be able to do much more with this one, unfortunately. It's not as clean of a setup. It's not near one of the major zones. Being on a Friday, the pound's going to run out of gas rather quickly here. Let me see. What was the manufacturing number? So manufacturing came in just slightly higher. Services actually came in better at 58.9. So that's interesting. Us and the pound, the services got better, but yeah, manufacturing slightly better. So it's all right. Not as earth shattering as I think it could have been. But yeah, I mean, I would say probably roll over in this one, but it's just not as clean for me. Euro pound. So Euro pound, we were hoping to push up. We're unable to get there. You can see where this pound data came in right here. That base up. Again, this is the European Open, European data. We based, pound data came out, boom, drove it right back down again. But it only moved at about 24. It didn't get up into the range that we're looking for. The 87, 86, 96 is kind of the area that we were looking for this to go. Well, unfortunately, we're kind of squished, right? We're kind of squished. There are larger time frame zones sitting right down here on this daily level. We're getting close to it. I would say with an hour left, it's probably not the best trading opportunity right now. I'd be looking for next week. I would say Sunday night gap area is this 87.97, and then also the level we just recently put in probably up here. The way that the candles are formed here, I like that. I like that they're dropping in this direction like that. That could be another potential sell for Sunday night at 86.72. So we could look, kind of like how it is there is one, and then have another one kind of there. It's fine. I can leave it there. You know what? Let's switch sides. Kind of there. Okay. Either of those two levels I'd be cool with sells, and both are risk to reward targets are in good places. So either of those two works for me for the euro pound. Like I said, I think the pound is in a much better place coronavirus wise than the European Union. I think the European Union's got a little bit more time to be weak, where the pound is being a little bit more flexible. Now, euro dollar, you can see this one is retraced about half the way through. Again, the blue boxes are the European Open sessions till about the 9 o'clock mark. Actually, this one should have ended. I guess it could have ended where it did. It's fine. That one hasn't ended yet. But you can see the amount of movement. All it's doing is retracing right back down now. Like I said, the U.S. data was positive. I wouldn't say that it was the most positive. I mean, yes, as expected and then slightly better, but I wouldn't say that this has been like an earth-shattering, like, man, this is huge, this is great. Wasn't as good as it could have been. So it's going to, take a little bit longer. I do think, I thought there was something up in there. I think there's hold on, let me see real quick. I have it up on my other screen. Euro dollar, we were talking about. Let's see. Oh, no, it didn't have anything close. Nope. I thought there was a knockout. It was another one that I was looking at for a knockout. I was looking for something high here, but unfortunately there wasn't much in there. But yeah, I mean, dropping this one down to a 30-minute, the euro dollar, you can see there's definitely some opportunity. Here, I'll drop it on the 30. You guys can see that, the indicator drew a level. It did drop and gave us a chance to get in a few hours ago, around 7:30-ish. So at this point, we've moved down about 22. You're not really going to get into this position now. There's just not enough profit in there for the amount of risk you needed to take. It was definitely an earlier target, but again, all off of that initial push of the euro dollar. Okay. Sunday night gap areas, I would say. $121.61, if we can rally back up again, is decent. Yeah, we could use that one too. The 120.70 right here. That also works. It's a decent bounce. I like the way that kind of came through. This one, no, it's not big enough. It's only 3. And it's interesting, guys. I've been testing it out on my version. My version has more than just these down here. I can send alerts and things like that with mine. I actually had Matt add another parameter into the scanner. So the way that it's set right now is it has to be a certain ATR, right? The problem is when we have these changes from, say, the Asian session to the European session, yeah, it may be more than 25% of what the ATR is, but because the ATR lags a little bit behind, it paints little tiny zones, maybe 2 and 3 pips. Not something you'd want to trade off of, right? And again, trying to kind of streamline the alerts, I had him add a minimum pip zone feature. So we have not only the ATR, but we also have the minimum number, and it definitely cleans it up a lot. Definitely a big fan of it. Actually had great results this morning from it. It kept us from getting in like 2 or 3 different trades. I think we had 3 winners today. We had 1 break even that was up at like 2.5 and came back, and then only 1 loser of like 8 pips. So it was a good morning as far as testing goes. But yeah, so there's Sunday night gaps on that one. Here's your euro-dollar position. We talked about this one collapsing through this 126.40, 126.71, and you can see again, you had your 1, you had your 2, you had your 3. This was number 4. Slammed right through, went all the way down to profit target, and then kind of rolled back down here off the 4-hour level. So again, your 4-hour level would have been our target. We're out 126.16 was where we were looking for this one. Decent drop too. I mean, so if I clear, some of these off just so we can kind of get a better view of them, right? We can take that off. You can see that this bottom down here, it's pretty clean. I mean, we had 1 touch, and again, nice push off, very, very strong push in, and it was just finally the retracement from the initial move. I mean, again, this is awesome move, right? All the way up, grabbed the top level at 127.50, came all the way back down and pushed. Now, this move for us to bounce higher again does require CAD weakness. We did see a lot of CAD weakness today. We just got some data that should be dollar strength. Oil is going to be the one that kind of, is kind of the linchpin for this one right now. But I would have to say, I mean, I like 4-hour zones. I like the reaction before. I love the entry into it. I love that it's basing right now. I mean, if we get a little bit of a pull away and a hiccup, a little bit of white space, again, I think this is a decent long target. The data we've seen out of Canada, the data they've seen out of Canada over the last 2 weeks has been dismal. It's been horrible, right? So I think that this one is set. I don't want to hold it over the weekend because, again, anything can happen. I mean, God knows what could happen. Another storm coming in Canada through Canada, and it's like, oh, there we go. Yeah, I think there's something decent in this one, but I would say long on this one. Look for some type of a bounce. Like I said, CAD data has been bad. U.S. data seems like it's been pretty good. We'll see if we can continue it down this dollar path now as far as recovery goes. Now, dollar Swiss. Okay, so dollar Swiss had that level up there. It pushed all the way down. You guys can see we talked about it hiccuping right here at the right at this level. And you can see it hiccuped, bounced here, bounced off of it again, came through. So again, this was definitely a level. And now we pushed up and grabbed it again. And in fact, you can see it grabbed this lower level here too. So it's been an interesting play. At this point, I would say, you could take it off. We could focus on Sunday night gaps. And again, very clean, nice drop off of that one. Downside, there's a couple funky positions. I mean, you had a little bit of a gap sitting right in this area here. And I would say right now, this would kind of be my top and bottom as far as Sunday night goes. If we can get to either of these 2 levels for Sunday night or just a slight drive into there, they could definitely be potential reversals, right? It's only about 31 from the bottom side. It's about 36 to the top side. So definitely something we can move. As far as targets go today, I mean, there's a little kind of entry here. You're talking about a 4-pip zone. Not really interested in taking it. Pushing much, much higher on this one. It's just so close. Just take the upside. Take the 89.87 as far as entries go. But there's our 2 Sunday night gap zones. Again, 89.87, 89.21, top and bottom. Either of those are good. And then obviously the level down here lower, the 88.81 is a level we've been looking at. Although something major would have to happen in this one for this thing to drop 70 pips today. All right, something major. God knows what that would be, but that's a lot in one, on one Friday. Okay, there's the Swiss dollar yen. All right, so from the short up top, we gave the 2 profit targets earlier in the week. We talked about this one level at 105.77. We ended up bouncing off of that one twice before coming through, and then it made its attempt up and kind of scared a lot of people. Pushed down, and it's now going past its 1 to 5. 1 to 10 was obviously too far. We talked about having profit targets at 105.30. As you can see, we've hit this level. It's a level we've talked about in the past. It's been tested. It took a nice little bounce. I mean, now it's up about 27 pips off of that level. I would say the hard part about this one is going to be really kind of here, right? I like the reaction. I like that it had a push down. I like that it based it, came back, grabbed it, and then I love the reaction off of the zone. But it has spent quite a bit of time there. I mean, you really have to go back and draw it this way and kind of encompass all of that. So, while I think there's a potential target in there, it is one that I'm a little bit more leery about. And depending on what time of day we hit that one, I think would make a difference. Um, right now, again, I think this is the correction phase. I don't know that this one is going to retrace fully. I think this is our impulse away from this area. Again, this is off the positive manufacturing news. Actually, excuse me, the positive services news. This could be our pullback, and we're looking to drive higher. So I don't know. This one could be an afternoon thing, but I think we're going to run out of steam. You're talking about a level here that's only about 6 pips, so it looks huge, but it's not. It'd require price to come back down to here. And right now, I mean, even on the 30-minute with the open, obviously there's craziness at the open. It's only a 10 pip ATR. So best case scenario, if we headed straight up, I mean, we're only talking about 30 pips, 40 pips that we can go, and it's about 20 pips just to that level. So, and that's if it just did nothing but go straight up. So, kind of one of those running out of time. The hourly actually is only 13. So, I mean, we're talking about basically 2 hours that would need to go straight up with no retracement whatsoever, and then still have and go through lunchtime, and then still have enough oomph after that for end of day. I don't know. That's asking a lot. I feel like that's asking a lot. So, yeah, I'd like to see this stabilize, but I think 105.66 is a decent bounce level. Obviously, there's your profit taking. But again, either of these two levels, 105.24, 105.66 on Sunday night when we open, I think either of these two levels are decent levels to go off of. And again, this is a very shy retest. And both times when we've hit, it's had nice responses off that level. So, pretty decent buyers here. All right, pretty decent buyers. Now, this is a level we will focus on next week because right now, if you look at this, we do have one hit here. You have another hit here. And we have another hit here. But again, this was a prior zone. So, I mean, we really can actually use this green as a newly established zone. Just be on your, just keep it on your radar that, yes, this was a previously violated zone that gave us a Harry Potter entry here, a Harry Potter entry long here. These were two longs. And again, this would have been number 3, which is still valid. And that's the one that gave us the explosion. And actually, the indicator printed a new zone for us because of the entry, base, and drop, or the entry, base, and rally. So, just be aware that it is not the cleanest of levels. It has been hit. It has been kind of confirmed, right? Confirmed. So again, I think it's decent for a Sunday night target. All right. All right. Jumping across the NQ. So NQ, there's a zone up here now. This will be the third hit on this level. It was actually a level established back here on the 16th. We hit it. Again, we got confirmation. It formed a new one based off the two sides. It got front run a little bit right here, right? We kind of rallied up, and then stopped and kind of rolled over. So it's close. I would say if we can pop into that level, I think it's probably decent. The way that this looks right now, I'm wondering if we're going to be able to clear this lower area here. Like, are we going to be able to get through this, 13,622? Right? It's a level of basing. It was decent. Will it push back down to kind of the overnight level here? But if we do get a base and a rally back up again, the 13,764, I think it's not a bad target. It's a 30-minute, right? Not horrible. But right now, we're kind of stuck in the middle. I mean, even on a 15-minute chart, you can see that this is what it was looking like, right? Nothing. I mean, there was a little zone here, but that was been pretty risky to take. It's a very, very tiny one on a 15. It was created at like 9 o'clock at night. So it's not really necessarily the best of levels, right? And it's actually originally over here. It's the wick over wick. So, you can see why this is turning. You got really these two areas right here, buyers, and that's what's giving us some issues. So if we can break through, it doesn't come back down, but I don't, it's all right. Like I said, I'm excited about this level. I think this is a good setup here. Besides that, I'm not as excited. This one's all right. Let's actually start it back here. Okay. S&P. So S&P did go off a level just a little while ago. Boom, boom. There we go. And you can see the hourly level is what it went off of. Now, this one we did mention, there's our curve. You can see that it went just outside. So again, that was in one of those hourly levels that was, a pretty decent hourly level. We mentioned yesterday, and I drew both these targets, that this is what we're looking for when we approach this level. If it hit the level, bounced away, and came back, and again, it hit the level, based, and then came back. Now, it didn't actually touch the level, but it did give us the pattern we were looking for. So there's a couple ways to get entered. You can see this one rallied way high, ended up going off to the top side and is bouncing. I actually do like this one more for a short. I think the fact that we spiked down and now we're kind of printing red again, at least on a 30-minute, I think that's not bad. It's already cleared us down to here. Here, we'll take this off because it's already on the top side. I would say watching kind of this level here, the 3909 is probably where the downside targets will be, and we may get some basing in there, but overall I can see this one coming all the way back down and ending up back down here, this 3886 today. I don't know if we'll clear too much more than that. Like I said, it's Friday afternoon, but I do think that this is a level that, again, tested here, and both times it spent almost no time. And again, that puts us at the extreme range of the curve. I think that's a decent spot. Decent spot. And it's what, a 30-point drop from where we are right now. So if we roll, that would be my downside targets. But I think overall, curve-wise, 39.57, 38.86 is our top and bottom extremes where we're really looking to get entered. And, again, it's an hourly / 4-hour zone up top. And this other one down here was originally formed off of a gap. And again, 2 touches, but spent almost no time, and both times spike price immediately back up again. So we'll extend this across. You guys can see where that comes in at. Yeah, right in there. All right. To the downside. I don't need this now. Delete. And again, these are just the pictures of what it looked like. All right, Dow. So Dow's kind of in the same situation. We're sitting in an hourly level right now. It's had some problems. It spiked to the downside. The manufacturing number obviously was good for the Dow. They're obviously linked with anything industrial for the most part. We are in the upper third, so we are looking for shorts. It is in a level right now. Dropping it down to a 30-minute, you can kind of see, it's quite a large level, right? Here is where the original level was formed. It's drawn not correctly. Well, not that it's not correct, but that's the actual level right there, right? So you can see much smaller, and it's actually already hit its 3-to-1 to the downside, and we're kind of approaching it again. The way that it's formed right below at this point, if you didn't get the initial push to the downside, right? Again, this is that whole level. If you didn't get this initial push, right? And by initial push, I guess actually it did miss it just by a little bit. It was close. If you didn't grab the initial push, I wouldn't be taking it right now with all the basing here. I would expect this zone to break right now. And again, pushed it pretty deep here. That's not necessarily a great sign. Kind of hit it here. So we've hit it the requisite number of times. I would say wait till 31,665, to be able to take the next short to the downside. But again, we'll leave that on there. Yeah, that's probably not bad. Yeah, I would say that that's probably the better one. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking to short this right now. Wait for it to come a bit higher and bounce off that 31 level. All right. Again, we went that higher the curve stuff right there. All right. Let's go across and go back over to gold. Hold on, I'm trying to move it around. Gold. Screener. There we go. All right, so gold has been a bit funky. We've been waiting for bounces, looking for kind of some move back. Had a couple things drawn on this one, right? As you guys can see. So here's where we are right now. Yesterday, we were sitting right here. Okay. And we were looking for a push. We talked about figuring out where the basing was going to occur on this one. It didn't really give us a great base anywhere. Like I said, it came down, it popped up, pop, came down, and then kind of hit through here. Didn't really do much. I mean, we're kind of in the same exact area. We're talking about a $5 range right here. So, this one is just not really, there's not much going on with this one. I mean, we'll go up to like an hourly. I mean, like I said, we knew we had a level here, and you can see how difficult of a time it had. These we don't need for the weekend. I'd say that this is an area we need to watch out for, right? Again, that's where the big sellers came in last time. Let me see, what other news do we have this morning? I think we're done. Home sales, maybe some monetary policy. It's record high. Yeah, I would say I'm gonna keep these two as far as potential targets go. These I don't need. Hmm. This is hard because of this right here. See these candles? Now it's here and then higher and then higher and then higher. This. Hmm. I would say if I had to pick a direction on this one today, I mean, again, this is on the lower time frames. You can see the level's been hit a lot. It's last time it had a very decent reaction off of it, and obviously people are here now. It's a little bit too late to enter, but I would say this one probably coming back down. But I don't expect it to go far. I expect it only to go into like the kind of the mid to low, 1770s before it kind of it bases again. Trying to think where we would really see. I mean, trying to play this one for over the weekend, and it's like this is just I hate this stuff. Like a lot of garbage. I mean, there's a little thing right here. That may be where we're looking for. So that's the last time we had like a really strong move after a little bit of basing, not something that's been hit, a whole bunch of times in a row. Mm, Yeah, so 18, 15, 10. 18, 15, 10 is where I'd be looking for the next shorts. Yeah, it's got to chop through. Okay, so this one, obviously, I mean, we've hit. It's everyone but the one I want. I mean, obviously, you got a hit here, right? You got at least another hit here. You got at least another touch here, right? So I mean, we're looking to break through this one. It's been hit, and again, that's ignoring this one here, the front run, right? So I mean, it's definitely a level that's been tested, and again, this is kind of we'll change this to an orange or a blue, right? So I'd say again, look for some buyers in here to push this one up. I mean, maybe it rolls over, maybe it rolls back down here and grabs some more buyers and then tries to push higher. I think it will go up. Once we can get back up to the 1815, then I think we're at a decent spot for some sales again. I just, the way this is formed, the way that the lows are getting higher in there, and then the way that we had the kind of the bounce off with the U.S. based data today, that 830ish number. I think this one is excuse me. I think this one is due to go higher, just by from what I'm seeing in here. Yeah, you can see it here. Touch, touch, front run, touch, and then again, it's kind of a racetrack up top again. So, yeah, I mean, you could potentially use this level. We could also do this too. Something along those lines. If we get the punch through, right? And again, maybe it hits it one more time and pulls back down, or maybe it does it twice. But once it finally breaks that level here at 1796.50, right? We look for a Harry Potter up to 1815. I think that would be a decent run if you're looking to get long this position, which I think is probably a decent run. You're doing this one, something along those lines. Okay. All right, let's go through silver. Silver's a mess. Did not get a Harry Potter entry in this one. You can see it literally spiked down, came back up. And had you done the breakout, I mean, we talked about the breakout, right? If you played the breakout, you obviously you got it. It dropped a little bit lower than our target. We'll take it off now because it's already obviously passed. Let's bring this back up to an hourly. Still drag the curve over. Right there. And I guess we could adjust the bottom, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it there based off of those. Take some of these off. We had this. We did not get the base. We had just a spike. Um, Yeah, it's fine. Go down to an hour. I want to take this. Let's see, pull this down to here. There we go. Mm. Wow, we came all the way down there to grab that one, huh? So we dial that on a 30-minute. Not really. Look at that. And it's always funny. Look at this. So it's based off the top of the body here, the green candle. And you can see the response right there. All right, I guess we will do this then. Shrink this down. Right there. There we go. This we don't need. This we don't. This I don't need. Let's put one here. There we go. And then we'll put a word of warning in that level right there. All right. There we go. All right. So there's silver. Again, did a little bit of a play in here. You guys could have taken it about 6:30 this morning in silver. Again, it was in no man's land, so a little bit more difficult. Be looking for anything up top. And there's a small level right where it's at right now. You know, you can see the little base here. It's kind of far up. I think, waiting for a little bit cleaner of an entry. Again, it has been hit and pushed to the very, very brain, kind of hitting here again, and it touched again. So it's been hit a number of times, just like gold was. So I think waiting until we get up to 27.82 would be a better place to short. Been tested just one time, kind of at a little bit of a peak, and then same thing. This thing shot all the way down, tagged this level, came all the way right back up. So it did clear a lot of room in here. So any shorts, we should be clear in this area. Maybe a little bit of a hiccup trying to get out of this very, very bottom piece right here. But again, 27.82 up top, and then 26.11 down bottom would be my tops and bottoms for this one. All right, let's go over to oil. Oil, this is what we were drawing. We talked about it was consolidating. Here's the U.S. market open. Here's the manufacturing numbers pushing this one higher. Here's obviously the news move yesterday, right? The completion of this one was $1, right? 60.38 to 61.40. There's your $1 move off that green news, and then all it did was a retrace and ran back down. Now, unfortunately, a little bit harder for one to get into, so we'll take these off now. All right. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's like we needed just to go just a bit more. It would have been nice if we got back up to that zone to take it short, but we didn't get it. I did mention that the thing I liked about this most was we had a level of basing here, and the way that these candles were formed over here. I'm still going to say that was my, I definitely like it for that. Now, I did mention that we had a Harry Potter setup. We were looking to take this one short. We knew we had some buyers here previously, but we had a zone that was blown up, and we were looking for some type of an entry. But we need to figure out where the new level of risk was going to be established. I said, wait for it to come down base, and let's use that level. It turned out that this is where the basing level was actually going to be. We just used the zone here instead of the zone higher, which again, that's it's perfectly fine to do. We're looking for that area. Now, the first attempt through dropped and came immediately back up, no entry. There was a bit of a kind of topping in here, dropped down again. Now we finally based and pulled back. So this was the trigger zone. Now you can see it did base here in that level. It just didn't give us another entry because we had just gotten it. So had you been waiting for this red level, right? Had you been waiting for this red level here, you had the basing right here, you weren't going to get another pullback because we were already in the trade from up top. So, kind of one of those things. We knew what we were looking for. We knew what we were waiting for. And again, it used this violated zone, not this one for the pullback. And once we got this here, it all of a sudden became the Harry Potter entry. And we got it to balance, and now it's just going stabilizing. Now, we are in that same level right now. Again, this is the old level right there. So you can see we're hitting it. Manufacturing news was good. So we'll see what we're able to do with it now. I mean, there was a bit of a gap in there as well. If you guys are looking for a short, you could potentially take this one. The dollar right now is doing what? Yeah, dollar's kind of doing its thing right now. It did bounce off earlier this morning, so that will obviously play into the oil position here a little bit. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say it is a technical based level. Typically we are not trading Harry Potters back and forth. They're not using the level multiple times. It's already given us one entry and it was pretty deep. This will be entry number 2, so just use some caution with it. I do like how this is kind of sitting over here where these wicks are getting lower. We had this drop sideways, strong push down, came up and test, drop lower, but it's not ideal. And again, it's Friday. There's only 2 hours, 3 hours left in this one, 3.5 hours left in oil. It looks like it wants to come back down, and I'd say that, if you guys are short this position right here, 59.41 is probably the decent target for it. It's all right. I don't know. I think there's a little bit better opportunity out there for other things to trade, but you could if you wanted to. But again, second attempt to the downside for a Harry Potter is not typically what we want. At this point, we're typically looking for it to break and do the Harry Potter to the top side now, right? We're not typically looking at taking 2 in a row south. We look for 1 south, come up. We're looking for basing, and then we're looking for a roll off the top. So, if it goes confirmation high, if it rolls and goes lower, I'm not as interested in taking it. But you could just make sure you're out before here. All right. All right, that was the last of the 3. Those poor people with this one. GameStop is now down to $42, and it's up today. It's up a little bit. It's up 10 cents. I guess you could be excited. Sure. Yeah. And poor doggy is Elon Musk making them comments, and then it goes all the way back again. So hopefully James has made all his money off doggy at this point. Nothing else in here I see. Tesla, stop being green. We need red. More red. More red. We got to go all the way down here. We need you to go to there, Tesla. Yeah, nothing else is exciting. So, moved on from Genie once all the Wall Street. Yeah, I never bought it. It's kind of funny. Like everybody that's into this one, I mean, it's like, oh my god, it's great, it's great. It's like you can just see. I mean, this is the 30-minute. I mean, looks like a great investment, right? Since Reddit said they were taking it to the moon, it's been a great kind of drop back down to the downside. I don't know. It's one of those things like, oh yeah, we made this coin as like a joke. It's like, okay, but how much people are putting their money into it? I can't even see. It won't even let me do I can't even do that. There's no history. Normally, like a lot of these, you can roll over and see like what they've been, like the performance. It's funny that there is nothing here. Yeah, natural gas as well. So, all right, that's it. So let's go ahead and let's do our drawing for the day. Where the heck do I have it? Here we go. And you guys can't see it yet. Attach it to that window. I sold my 11,000 doggy for 50,000 profit. I feel shame, but no faith. Hey, you made $50 off of it, Wealth Builder. I feel like that's nothing to be scoffed at. I mean, you did have 11,000 of them, but I don't know. I mean, $50 profit is $50 profit. So, all right, I'll give you guys about another 45 seconds. When this says 15:30, we'll go ahead and get out of it. It's funny, the ellipse timer doesn't work. I have it on on another monitor. I'm not looking at it. I mean, obviously, it's been longer than 15 minutes that it's been open, but I made $50. It's $50. Hey, you can get yourself a good steak dinner with that. It was so funny. My wife the other day was mentioning, we'll go over to Rockville, right? We'll make it a day. We'll go get some good Asian food. We don't. She's obviously Chinese. We don't really have Asian restaurants in Annapolis. They just don't exist. We have Chinese takeout, but we don't have a legitimate we don't have Asian markets here. We don't have anything like that, right? I'm like, why can't we just go to Rockville and why can't we get a steak dinner? She's like, why would we go pay for steak? Just make it. I was like, what? You think the sous vide steak is now as good as the restaurant? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So, Ernest, I've been ruined. I'm never allowed to go out and have a fancy steak now. I'll never be allowed to go to steakhouse again, I guess. So, all right. Oh, speaking of that, make sure everybody, make sure you're going to vote for Ernest. Ernest is competing. He was going. Ernest, I don't know what position you're in right now, but I know yesterday you dropped in a second. You're losing. It doesn't say by how many votes, but you're losing to a Tom Colicchio chef, which I don't know. I feel like losing to a Tom Colicchio chef is you're paying for ambiance at a steakhouse. I know, right? I mean, I feel like yeah. And I feel like I don't cook potatoes as well either. Like, you know, you get those potatoes in a steakhouse, they're just good. Oh, are you back in first? You're beating the Tom Colicchio chef? All right. Well, I haven't done my vote yet today. I got to go back in there and do my vote for today. Yeah. I got to go in. But yeah, it's a Tom Colicchio chef on top, who his picture is sushi, which I thought is great. It's like, did you cook that or did you just put it on a plate? Like, it's not a plating contest, it's a cooking contest, buddy. And then the guy that was behind you in third yesterday, he's another guy that like has all these like professional chef pictures, and he's got his chef jacket on as, you know, the head chef of this other thing. So yeah, we got to keep voting. We got to stick it to the man. All those Longhorns on the wall. Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing. Let's see who takes it for today. Winner of today's drawing is, and remember, it was Ross yesterday, right? So this week I think Eki and Ross have both won, and Marina won on Monday. So, or not Monday, last Friday. So here we go. Last drawing of the week. Winner is Mitch. Look at that. Go, Mitch. Mitch, it's good seeing you in here more. Right there, Mitch. Let's see. Where are you? Because we had to change Mitch's stuff around for a bit. I'd like add things in from him. Mitch, where the heck are you? Are you on page 2? Maybe you're on page 2. I don't know. Right there. Give you your 25 for the day. There we go. Look at that, Mitch. You're right on Silent's heels. I saw Silent trying to enter. He came in a little bit late. So yeah, so good stuff, guys. Like I said, I mean, there's not really a whole lot. I mean, obviously, news is going to be one of those things that we can watch out for today. Nobody cares about this. The services number is actually pretty good. Existing home sales isn't going to do a whole lot. Actually, that number should have been out already. Why is that number not out? There we go. So existing home sales actually went up. And then the monetary policy report. I don't see anything else in here. Yeah, nothing else. Yeah, I think the rest of the day is going to be slow. So, I mean, look at this. Dollar CAD is just getting hammered. Crazy. And again, that data is just horrible. Horrible. So, all right, well, I'm out of here, guys. You guys all have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys Monday. Back on again, and then, like I said, working on a new presentation for Nadex. I think it's going to be March 16th. They want me to do something along the lines of like picking the right strike, but it's kind of more about using shorter duration binaries to learn how to trade news and the UK Open. It's obviously it's much more advanced than my other speakers, so I'm trying to figure out how to get into 45 minutes and what to cover and what not to cover. So, yeah, we're starting to do that. So it should be interesting. But I think I'm actually I'm going to be allowed to do like a giveaway or something for it. Like, I don't know. I'll probably give out like the weekly newsletters or something, or I don't know. Maybe I'll give out some more courses or something for attendees. So you guys have to make sure you get registered when that comes out. But otherwise, you guys stay warm. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and I'll catch you guys next week. Take care.